It's a WRAL weather alert day as we have the chance for strong to severe thunderstorms this afternoon and evening. I'll show you what time the storms could start and who could see wind damage and possible flooding.
Breaking news. The U.S. military has identified 2 soldiers who were killed during Iranian attacks over the weekend. We're learning about the Fort Bragg soldier who died during the battle.
Drunk driving charge. The tow truck driver arrested after a deadly crash on Capitol Boulevard will be in court today. WRAL examines his lengthy history of DWI charges.
Back to school. More students in the Triangle are returning to year-round classes today. How their in-school meals are changing due to the threat of cyclospora.
We are following those stories and more, as well as your morning commute. WRAL News at 8 starts in about 30 seconds.
Now be careful with Hardee's new hot honey. You'll get lost in that made-from-scratch hot honey chicken biscuit. Right now, get the hot honey chicken biscuit or any chicken biscuit for just $3.99. Only at Hardee's.
What's up, Bubba? Hey, Brad. Did we win something?
Oh, yeah.
What's that?
Partner with some chicken.
Yeah.
Right now on the app, My Rewards members get the Bubba Wallace Full Throttle Tenders meal with a collectible Hardee's card.
Your #1 source for local news. This is WRAL, coverage you can count on.
Good morning, everyone. The time is 8 a.m. here on your Monday morning, and we have a busy Monday, so we'll get to those stories and more in just a bit. I'm Laura Levine.
And I'm Ken Smith. One of the big stories is the weather. Let's get right to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner, the WRAL Severe Weather Center, tracking what could be a dicey afternoon.
Yes, so this next weather maker, the stationary front, sits here again today, just like it did yesterday. And of course, a lot of people did see storms yesterday. Same timeline, right around or just after lunchtime, we'll begin to see storms developing. Some of those could produce wind damage. We had some wind damage, especially in our northern counties, and then some flooding possible as well. We'll see heavy downpours with these showers. So we do have a level 2 risk for flooding across our area and a level 2 risk for strong winds that could cause some damage. Hour by hour rain chances, again, right around or just after lunchtime, we see the best chance, but that chance could linger into the evening up until around midnight or even early morning hours tomorrow. Right now, we're looking at a steamy start to the day, partly cloudy skies here over downtown Raleigh. It's 78 with a dew point of 70. So definitely feeling hot and humid right now. But we keep it out of the extreme heat for the rest of the next 7 days. We'll see highs in the upper 80s for this afternoon. We do continue with a chance of strong to severe storms Tuesday and Wednesday. So our weather alert day continues. And also we're watching the tropics. A system could develop into a tropical storm today. We'll check that out. Ken?
All right, Elizabeth, happening now. We're going to take a spin around the Beltline for your morning commute because that's where we're picking up the bulk of our congestion this morning. I-40, Lake Wheeler Road. You can see those lanes moving away on the westbound lanes. And as jammed up as that looks, really and truly, you're just looking at a 4-minute delay because the bulk of it is really between Lake Wheeler Road and the Gorman Street exits. Once you get past Gorman Street, it's clear sailing all the way over to Cary. As for that northern loop of the Beltline, things are getting a little bit more jammed up. Last half hour, there was a 7-minute delay. Right now, you're looking at an 8-minute delay between the I-87 440 interchange all the way over to Wade Avenue. The bulk of the congestion really happening around the Capitol Boulevard area. I'll keep an eye on it for you, just to keep you posted. Here's a live look at I-40 Carytown Boulevard. Yeah, those westbound lanes moving away from us, flowing at a nice steady clip, and that's really what we're seeing on most of our major routes. Friends in Wake Forest, so you're looking at an 8-minute delay, but if you're coming in from Knightdale, just a 2-minute delay. You're coming in from the Garner-Johnston County area and I-40 westbound, completely delay-free. So depending on where you're headed this morning, you will get to your destination on time at this hour.
Okay, Ken, thank you. We now know a Fort Bragg soldier is among the 3 American soldiers who have been killed in recent days in the Middle East. The Army has said 25-year-old First Lieutenant Tyler James Fionn died after an attack at an airbase in Jordan. Fionn was from Hawaii. He is one of 2 soldiers who were killed in that attack. U.S. officials also say another soldier was killed in northern Iraq during the controlled detonation of a downed Iranian drone. The U.S. and Iran have inched closer to all-out war as last month's interim ceasefire deal fell apart. Since then, both sides have targeted civilian infrastructure, and shipping traffic in the Strait of Hormuz has largely stalled. There was a large EMS and fire response as we take a look here at local news to a pharmaceutical plant in Clayton this morning. The WRAL breaking news tracker was at the Grifols plant on US 70 Business at about 1:30 this morning. There were multiple ambulances on the scene. We are working to learn what happened and whether anyone was hurt. The tow truck driver charged with drunk driving after a deadly crash on Capitol Boulevard will be in court today. WRAL's Ali Katlabar joins us live from the Wake County Justice Center. And Ali, this tow truck driver has a history of DWIs.
Yeah, this is Alan Guerrera's fourth DWI charge, and now he's also facing aggravated felony death by vehicle as well as many other charges. Take a look at your screen here. This is 39-year-old Guerrera's mugshot. Police say he made a U-turn against a red light, crashing into two motorcycles and another car on Capitol Boulevard early Friday morning. Chandler Hodge died while riding his motorcycle. Friday marked his 35th birthday. 3 other people were also seriously injured. Guerrero had 3 prior drunk driving convictions, including one just last year. He currently has a suspended license due to previous DWI charges. And this morning, we're asking these questions that you're about to see on your screen. How was a person with 3 DWIs and no active license running a driving business? And who was responsible for allowing him to keep that business? When we hear back, we'll let you know. He's going to be in court at 1:30 this afternoon. WRAL will be there. Reporting live in Raleigh, Ali Katlabar, WRAL News.
Happening today, Durham Public Schools welcoming back its year-round students. Let's get to WRAL's Elizabeth Holmes. She's at Easley Durham Elementary School in Durham. And Elizabeth, this first day of year-round school coming with some changes.
Ken, it is. Roughly 4,000 students are coming back to the classroom here in Durham. They'll be the first of about 30,000 students to start school in the district this school year, and compare that to around 40,000 year-round students enrolled in Wake County. But as you mentioned, there are some changes coming here in Durham. The district says that it is actively monitoring cyclosporiasis cases. As of Wednesday, there were about 21 cases reported here in Durham. The district says that they are now removing all fresh produce from all of their school meals, and that will last until September. They're using canned food and frozen fruits and vegetables. Now, pediatricians say it's important that parents know more about cyclosporiasis as their kids are returning back to the classroom.
Kids tend to have more diarrhea than they do kind of the flu-like symptoms and the abdominal cramping that adults will more likely experience. The biggest thing to be aware of for kids is that they're at a higher risk of dehydration and they are less tolerant of weight loss.
Now, pediatricians say that it's not like salmonella or neurovirus that they normally see outbreaks of during the traditional school year. They say that this is not as contagious. And a reminder, traditional school here starts in Durham County on August 24th. In Durham, I'm Elizabeth Holmes, WRAL News.
Elizabeth, thank you. Well, thousands of cases of the intestinal illness cyclospora have been confirmed in the U.S. Hundreds of those cases are here in North Carolina, and the source is still unclear. One impact being felt in the Triangle, well, a boom in business for local growers. It was jam-packed at the State Farmers Market this weekend as consumers look for ways to avoid the parasite. Food from local growers requires limited handling and packing, a shorter travel distance, and is usually sold fresher. Factors that all lower the chances of contamination. We spoke with farmers who say that they are already seeing a boost.
We're seeing definitely increase in sales in our greens, lettuces, and kales and things like that.
Was there ever a concern that it would affect your produce?
No, not at all.
So health officials say it can be hard to narrow down exactly what the source of the outbreak is. The CDC is advising people to not eat any recalled produce and to throw it away if you do have it. You can count on WRAL to keep you updated on everything your family needs to know about cyclospora. You can hear from a few local people who experienced the illness firsthand, plus find in-depth discussions on what to look for so you don't get sick. That's all on the WRAL YouTube page.
New this morning, nearly 300,000 North Carolinians now find themselves in default on their federal student loans. That's according to a new analysis by the Associated Press. It shows those borrowers collectively owe $7.8 billion in federal student loans. It's nearly double the people who were in default just a year ago. Nationally, the number of borrowers in default soaring since pauses on loan repayments during the COVID-19 pandemic. We have a lot more information on what this problem looks like in North Carolina in the education section of WRAL.com. People in Fayetteville coming together to help search for a missing Slovak soldier, Savion Anderson. Dozens gathered in the parking lot of the Airborne Museum yesterday before spreading out to search. Anderson's family was there as well. Some volunteers also plan to search Fort Bragg. Anderson was last seen on June 29th. He was reported absent without leave on July 1st. WRAL spoke with his wife last week. She says Anderson had been struggling with mental health issues, but she believes he's alive. Anyone who sees Anderson is asked to contact the Fort Bragg Resident Agency Army.
Breaking news that we need to get to now. This morning, the UK has a new prime minister. Andy Burnham has taken the role after meeting with King Charles III. This morning, Keir Starmer delivered his farewell speech as British prime minister. He walked out to loud cheers and applause before saying his work is done. Starmer announced his resignation last month. Burnham is now the UK's 7th prime minister in the last 10 years.
Well, time now 8:10. Big changes. A major decision in Washington could reshape college sports for years to come. What's at stake for athletes, schools, and fans?
And on top of the world, Spain has won the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Their big win over Argentina and reaction from Triangle soccer fans after an exciting World Cup series.
And here we have the potential for some flooding and some severe storms that could produce some wind damage. Meteorologist Chris Michaels coming up to talk about what's happening in the tropics with something that may have a familiar name. 8:14, our next weather maker here is a stationary front that brought us storms yesterday and will bring us more storms today. They'll start at the normal time, right around or just after lunchtime, and bring us the potential for some wind damage and some flooding. You can see the flooding risk and the severe threat for wind damage are about the same. That level 2 risk means that we'll see some scattered storms that could produce some wind damage, some trees down, and definitely some flooding. Right now, we're looking at mainly cloudy skies here in North Hills. It's a warm, muggy start this morning. 75 in Fayetteville, 72 Roanoke Rapids, 78 in Durham. We will climb into the upper 80s this afternoon. It keeps us out of the extreme heat. Still a nice day to head to the pool until early to late afternoon. That's when we begin to see some of the thunderstorms cropping up. Of course, coming up, we're going to talk more about how much rain we could see as we have more chances all the way through the end of the week. Ken?
All right, Elizabeth, checking the morning commute. Traffic appears to be flowing at a nice steady clip as we take a live look at 440 at New Bern Avenue. But once these drivers in the westbound lanes get a little closer to Capitol Boulevard, that's where they're running into the bulk of the congestion. So right now, you're looking at a 6-minute delay between the I-87 440 interchange or New Bern Avenue, if you will, all the way over to Wade Avenue. So keep that in mind as you plot out your morning commute. I'll have another update on some of the other major routes coming up.
Ken, thank you. More than a dozen people are out of their homes after an apartment fire in Raleigh over the weekend. The fire happened early yesterday morning at the Timbers Apartments off of West Millbrook Road. 8 units were damaged. At least 16 people are without a place to stay. No one was hurt, and the cause of this fire is still under investigation. Well, college football season kicks off in less than 6 weeks, but the future of college sports could be decided before that in Congress. So the Protect College Sports Act, it's making its way through the U.S. Senate. The comprehensive bill would impact everything from eligibility and the transfer portal to agent fees for name, image, and likeness deals and conference realignment. Some college leaders have been pushing for federal action for years. They say it would help stabilize a situation that many think has gotten out of control.
We are truthfully working as hard as we can to make this thing work, because I don't know how much more disrupted college sports could be, but we would enter that ecosystem if we can't get something done.
The bill has support from the chancellors of NC State, UNC, and ECU, but not everyone is on board. The leaders of the Big Ten and SEC have been opposed. They are pushing for changes to this bill.
9 people are critically injured after a mass shooting in downtown Tucson, Arizona. This happened early yesterday morning. Police say the suspect was running away as officers arrived. Officers say he was given several commands before an officer shot him. That suspect was taken to the hospital with life-threatening injuries. Police are now looking for people who may have video of that scene. 2 people are dead and 7 others are hurt after a shooting in Asheville here in our state. It happened near Biltmore Avenue yesterday morning. Investigators believe the shooting may have been linked to something that happened earlier in terms of another shooting. The conditions of the 7 people who were hurt have not been released.
Tomorrow night's Mega Millions jackpot will be worth an estimated $707 million. Nobody won the jackpot Friday night. Tomorrow's jackpot will be the 10th largest prize in the game's history. You can watch tomorrow night's drawing right before WRAL News at 11. This morning, Spain is celebrating its second World Cup win. Ferran Torres' goal in the 106th minute gave Spain a 1-0 win over defending champions Argentina in yesterday's final. Spain previously won the World Cup in 2010. Their win denied Lionel Messi a title in what may have been his final World Cup. Well, World Cup fever was at a high pitch here in the Triangle as fans packed watch parties all across our area. Soccer fans at Sports and Social in Cary were there for every high and low of the World Cup final. When it was all over, Spain supporters left with smiles across their faces, as you can imagine. Fans said sharing the moment with hundreds of other supporters made it feel like a little piece of the World Cup was right here in the Triangle.
Our friend is actually from Spain. I'm from Iraq, from Baghdad. But he had to leave to see his family in España. So we told him we have him here. We got him here. So we came with full gear. And Viva España!
Let's go. So still ahead in what's trending, a look at the FIFA World Cup Finals' first ever halftime show.
Well, a storm in the Gulf will soon be named Bertha. Longtime North Carolinians may remember a storm that of the same name 30 years ago. Let's bring in meteorologist Chris Michaels to show us just how two are different from one another in today's Ask the Meteorologist. Hey, Chris.
Hey there, Ken. Yeah, and you can see that storm from 30 years ago behind me as it was making landfall in North Carolina as a Category 2 hurricane. Those of you, again, who were here 30 years ago, you remember it well, especially closer to the coast, obviously, where it was about 10 inches of rain in Southport. By the New River Marine Corps Air Station, there was a wind gust of 108 miles per hour and some estimated damage costs anywhere between $270 and $400 million. Now, this is a much different storm than what we're seeing in the Gulf right now. This formed off the coast of Africa, moved past the Caribbean, and made a beeline right for North Carolina, producing some very high rain totals, which you commonly see, especially in landfalling systems like this. In our area, we saw about 1 to 4 inches of rain. At this point in time, we could certainly use that, but we're probably not going to get a direct hit from what is now Tropical Depression 2. It'll likely be named Bertha later today, but currently the hurricane hunters investigating that storm. Elizabeth, just a little bit of moisture from that. It's enough to cause more storminess this week.
Absolutely. And so many days in a row, we still need a lot of rain to get out of the drought. And I'm going to show you how much we could see in the next 7 days. It looks really good for a lot of people, but we also have the storm risk and the potential for some flooding to go along with it. The timeline is likely to be pretty typical. Mid to late afternoon into the evening is when we'll have the best chance of seeing rain. This is a look at our 2-day rainfall total. So for both Saturday and Sunday, right around Southern Pines, it was a little over 1.25 inches. Also up here in the southern part of Granville County, almost 3 inches. What you're looking for is those blue or pink shaded areas. That's where we have the bullseye of some much heavier rain. Around Rocky Mount and Wilson, it was about 1 inch of rain. Same thing in Fayetteville. But notice there were some pockets where we just really didn't see any. Up around Roanoke Rapids and around Siler City, we saw very little rain in the last couple of days. That is the nature of thunderstorms. They pop up in some places and they're not very big. And so not everybody sees them. It's not like our winter pattern where we have a big low pressure system, produce steady rain across the entire area. We had some clusters of severe wind damage up just south of South Hill, west of Roanoke Rapids, around Henderson, and for parts of Granville County. We're likely to continue to see the flooding threat for today, tomorrow, and Wednesday with a level 1 to 2 risk for the next 3 days. So you're going to want to watch that, especially during the evening commute. There could be some rain that's very heavy. That's causing ponding on the roads or places that tend to flood fairly regularly. If you see a thunderstorm there, we could see some flooding. Showers and storms will continue really all the way up until midnight or maybe even a little bit after. No area is really favored over another. We could see storms developing anywhere, but they won't happen everywhere. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, all a 50 to 60% chance of rain in the afternoon. And then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, that chance starts to drop off a little bit. But look at this rainfall. Parts of the viewing area, 4 to 5 inches in the next 7 days. That will really help to chip away at our drought. We're also not looking at some of the intense heat that we've seen so far this summer. 93 tomorrow will be the hottest day and a nice string of 80s starting on Thursday. Ken?
Excellent, Elizabeth. Happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. We're going to focus on the Beltline because that's where we're seeing the bulk of the congestion. Let's start with the northern loop of the Beltline, I-440 and New Bern Avenue. These are the westbound lanes moving away from us this morning. So as we widen out the view of that northern loop of the Beltline, the bulk of the congestion is around Capitol Boulevard, going back to the 87-440 interchange. Right now, you're looking at a 4-minute delay all the way over to Wade Avenue. As for the southern loop of the Beltline, things are a little bit beginning to thin out a little bit. Right now, you're looking at a 3-minute delay because between Lake Wheeler Road and Gorman Street, just a little bit of congestion there. So nothing really that's going to make you late. Let's go over to I-40 and Airport Boulevard. You can see traffic flowing. I see about a steady clip in all directions, and that's what we're seeing on all of our major routes, except you're coming in from Wake Forest. You're looking at a 4-minute delay, but all the other major routes are relatively delay-free at this hour.
Ken, thank you. Neighborhood takeovers coming up. Residential areas overrun by people who don't live there. WRAL investigates the dangerous trend of takeovers events and what's being done to stop them.
Stay safe with the latest WRAL Weather Alert Day info. Get up to the minute weather and traffic conditions when you get in your car. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM, in Durham 96.5 FM, and everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
Good morning, everyone. The time is 8:26 here on your Monday. I'm Laura Levine. Let's get right over to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner tracking our next weather maker.
Looking at a good chance for showers and storms developing right around and just after lunchtime, pretty much the typical time frame that we see storms around here. This is a look at what we could expect. We have the potential for these storms to produce some heavy rainfall, so some flooding is possible, as well as a few storms becoming severe with the potential for wind damage. It's mostly cloudy right now in North Hills, and we're seeing a mix of sun and clouds across the area. We'll see temperatures heading out the door mainly in the mid to upper 70s right now, and then highs only in the low 80s. Lots of clouds with that early onset of rain keeps our temperatures a bit cooler with upper 80s. Ken?
All right, Elizabeth, we're staying on top of the Beltline where we're seeing the bulk of the congestion this morning at I-440 New Bern Avenue. These are the westbound lanes moving away from us as we widen out that view. Right now, you're looking at a 5-minute delay between the I-87-440 interchange over the Wade Avenue. As for that southern loop of the Beltline, similarly, we're just looking at a 1-minute delay just between the Lake Wheeler Road, Gorman Street exits. There's a little bit of a slowdown, but once you get past that, it's clear sailing all the way to Cary. Another update on your morning commute at the bottom of the hour.
Happening today, the tow truck driver charged in a deadly crash in Raleigh will make his first court appearance. Police say Alan Guerrero crashed into 2 motorcycles and a car on Friday morning on Capitol Boulevard. He faces 8 charges in this case, including DWI. Well, there was a large EMS and fire response to a pharmaceutical plant in Clayton this morning. The WRAL Breaking News Tracker was at that scene at the Grifols plant on US 70 Business at around 1:30 a.m. We're working to learn what happened and whether anyone was hurt. Coming up next on Fox 50, how year-round schools are handling the threat of cyclospora.
It's a WRAL Weather Alert Day as we have the chance for strong to severe thunderstorms this afternoon and evening. I'll show you what time the storms could start and who could see wind damage and possible flooding.
Drunk driving charged. The tow truck driver arrested after a deadly crash on Capitol Boulevard will be in court today. WRAL examines his lengthy history of DWI charges.
Back to school. More students in the Triangle are returning to year-round classes today. How their in-school meals are changing due to the threat of cyclospora.
Boy, it's that time of year. Back to school, and it's going to be that way for traditional calendar students as well. Hey, glad you're with us here at 8:30. I'm Ken Smith.
And I'm Laura Levine. There is a lot that we're tracking on your Monday morning, including this next weather maker, meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner, with a look at our forecast on this alert day. Elizabeth.
This next weather maker is a stationary front that brought us thunderstorms yesterday, and we'll see that repeated today as well as the next several days. Timeline for storms is pretty typical this time of year. We tend to see afternoon and evening thunderstorms. That'll be the case today. Some of the strong storms could produce some wind damage. We also saw that yesterday, and some heavy downpours with a chance of some flooding. So we do have a flood risk and a severe threat. It's a level 2 on both counts, and that means we'll see scattered storms that could produce either or both of those. Again, timeline likely to be right around lunchtime into the late afternoon and evening. And we're starting off with some cloud cover this morning. That will help to keep our temperatures a bit cooler today. We're not looking at any extreme heat in the next 7 days. Right now, our dew point's 71, which is high, so it feels quite muggy, and it's warm too at 78. But we only climb into the upper 80s this afternoon because we have that chance of showers and storms. Again, we're going to repeat this again for both Tuesday and Wednesday, and all 3 days will be WRAL weather alert days. I'll show you how much rain we could see total for the next 7 days. Coming up, Ken.
Elizabeth, checking the morning commute here in the 8:30 half hour. We're going to focus on the Beltline because that's where we're seeing the bulk of the congestion. So let's start in that northern section of the Beltline, I-440, New Bern Avenue. These are the westbound lanes moving away from us this morning. And really and truly, we're seeing the majority of the delays between the Capitol Boulevard exit and the I-87 440 interchange right now. So right now, you're just looking at a 4-minute delay because once you get past Capitol Boulevard, it's really clear sailing all the way over to Wade Avenue. As for that southern loop of the Beltline, things have really thinned out quite a bit. We're only picking up a little bit of a yellow around the Lake Wheeler Road exit, but after that, it's just 1 minute delay between the 440 interchange all the way over to US 1 in Cary. Now, I know many of you use I-540 westbound as an alternate route. Right now, you're looking at a 6-minute delay because we're picking up some heavy congestion between Glenwood Avenue and I-40. I'm going to work and see exactly what's going on, but just know that's a 6-minute delay. That's what you're going to be running into as you plot your morning commute this morning. You're getting ready to head into the car. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
Ken, thank you. Now let's get to the latest on the war in Iran. We now know a Fort Bragg soldier is among the 3 American soldiers who have been killed in recent days in the Middle East. The Army said 25-year-old First Lieutenant Tyler James Fionn died after an attack at an air base in Jordan. He was from Hawaii. U.S. Central Command says another service member died in northern Iraq during a controlled detonation of a piece of equipment from a downed Iranian attack drone. It also said that it has located unidentified remains in Jordan, where Fionn was one of 2 soldiers killed in that strike. The mounting death toll has effectively ended the interim ceasefire between the U.S. and Iran, which they negotiated last month. Since then, both sides have targeted civilian infrastructure relied on by millions of people. Shipping traffic in the Strait of Hormuz has also largely stalled. So this morning, AAA reports that the national average for gas is once again at $4 as the attacks intensify. The North Carolina numbers that we're looking at here is now $3.68. That's up 9 cents from a week ago. And in Raleigh, it's up 7 cents from last week to $3.68.
Well, there was a large EMS and fire response to a pharmaceutical plant in Clayton this morning. The WRAL Breaking News Tracker was at the Grifols plant on US 70 business at about 1:30 this morning. There were several ambulances at that scene. We're working to learn what happened and whether anyone was hurt.
Investigators are working to find the cause of an early morning fire in Moore County. This happened on Morgan Trail Court in Seven Lakes. Everyone who was in that home, 2 adults and 5 children, were able to get out safely. Firefighters got the fire under control just before 2:30 this morning.
That tow truck driver charged with driving drunk after this deadly crash on Capitol Boulevard will appear in court today. That crash early Friday morning near Trurick Road involved 4 different vehicles and killed a motorcyclist. Let's get to WRAL's Ali Catalabar. She's joining us live outside the Wake County Justice Center. And Ali, this driver charged has a history of driving while impaired.
Yeah, this would make Alan Guerrero's 4th DWI charge. He's also facing other charges, including aggravated felony death by vehicle. Now take a look at your screen here. This is a mugshot of 39-year-old Guerrero. Now police say he made a U-turn against a red light, crashing into 2 motorcycles and another car on Capitol Boulevard early Friday morning. Chandler Hodge died while riding his motorcycle. Friday marked his 35th birthday. 3 other people were also seriously injured. Guerrero had 3 prior drunk driving convictions, including one just last year. He currently has a suspended license due to previous DWI charges. And this morning we're asking these questions you will see on your screen. How was a person with 3 DWIs and no active license able to run a driving business? And who is responsible for allowing him to keep that business? And when we hear back, we'll let you know. He's going to be in court at 1:30 this afternoon. WRAL will be there. Reporting live in Raleigh, Ali Kadlabar, WRAL News.
This morning, Durham Public Schools are welcoming back its year-round students. WRAL's Elizabeth Holmes is at the Easley Elementary School in Durham. And Elizabeth, with recent health concerns, the first day of this school year is coming with some changes.
That's right. Nearly 4,000 students are now back in the classroom here in Durham. They're the first of around 30,000 to start the school year. And compare that to Durham, around 40,000 students are enrolled in the year-round academic calendar at this point. But Durham right now making some changes while they are actively monitoring cyclosporiasis. The county has confirmed about 21 cases. That's from data as recent as Wednesday. So the district is making some changes to their school meals. We spoke to the district superintendent about this today.
We recognize, the threat there, and we are not serving fresh produce until at least September. We are continuing to partner with our health department as they inform us on the best possibilities to ensure that our students are safe. We're sticking to frozen produce at this point.
Now, pediatricians say that cyclosporiasis can cause children to become more dehydrated, but they say that there is some good news. It's not as contagious as the normal viruses that they see throughout the traditional school year. And a reminder, speaking of the traditional school year here in Durham, it will start August 24th. In Durham, I'm Elizabeth Holmes, WRAL News.
And while we're on the subject, we should get new data today about the number of cyclospora cases in Wake County. Also, more questions about the source of the outbreak. The FDA says a sample from a lettuce supply that initially tested positive for the parasite was a false positive. The agency says they discovered the false positive when they rechecked the results of the sample from Taylor Farms. The company voluntarily recalled its iceberg lettuce from Mexico out of caution. So far, 307 cyclospora cases now being reported in North Carolina. 270 of them right here in Wake County. Now, with the source still unclear, some people headed to the state farmers market instead of the supermarket for their produce. Although the levels of contamination may be lower, shoppers tell us there's still a level of caution in the air.
It makes me nervous. I feel like I keep hearing different pieces of information about how dangerous or where it's coming from.
Health officials say it can be difficult to narrow down the exact source of the outbreak. The Centers for Disease Control advising people not to eat any recalled produce. Now, if you do have it in your kitchen, throw it away. Count on WRAL to keep you updated on everything your family needs to know about cyclospora. Hear from a few local people who experienced the illness firsthand. Also find out in-depth discussions on what to look for so you don't get sick. It's all on the WRAL YouTube page. Of course, watch our evening news starting this afternoon at 4 for new details about the number of cases in our area and any new information from health officials.
Today, teachers at Durant Road Elementary School in Raleigh will start their school year in a different building. They will report to Abbott's Creek Elementary School. Year-round classes for Durant students are set to start July 30th, but it is one of 3 Wake County schools where structural problems need to be fixed before students can return to that classroom. Durant students will go to Abbott's Creek until work is done and scheduled to be done by August 17th. That's 1 week before classes begin for Abbott's Creek students. Well, today, the city of Rocky Mount will start disconnecting customers who have not paid their utility bills. The shutoffs were supposed to start last week, but customers were given a 1-week grace period. Rocky Mount dealt with billing problems where customers said they were double billed. A state auditor's report highlighted issues with electric meters, but no double billing.
Raleigh police are looking for a driver who hit and killed a woman on I-40. Police say it happened just after midnight yesterday morning on I-40 East near South Saunders Street. The woman was identified as 33-year-old Jenna Shively. Police say she was in the road near the South Saunders Street interchange when she was hit. The driver did not remain on the scene.
Vance County deputies are looking for the suspect in a deadly shooting. This happened just before 2:30 yesterday morning on South Clearview Drive in Henderson. 38-year-old Delonis Perry died at the scene. The State Bureau of Investigation is helping with this investigation. Anyone with any information should call Henderson Vance Crime Stoppers.
Well, coming up as we come up on 8:40, new accounts. Nolan Wells set to be laid to rest today, 2 weeks after his body was found floating near a 4th of July party. What partygoers are revealing about where Wells was last seen.
Plus, neighborhood takeover concerns, neighborhoods overrun by police and people who don't live there. WRAL investigates the dangerous trend of takeover events and what's being done to stop them.
We had some scattered severe weather yesterday. We'll repeat that again today as well as Tuesday and Wednesday. I'll show you the pattern and what we'll see this afternoon coming up. 8:44, and we're dealing with this stationary front that brought us thunderstorms yesterday and isn't going anywhere anytime soon. So we're back at it again today with that chance of storms, especially right around to after lunchtime into the evening. Very similar to the timeline we typically see this time of year. We do have a level 2 risk for flooding and for severe storms. Flooding, of course, could be isolated in places as we have a lot of heavy downpours, and severe storms could produce some wind damage this afternoon. Here's a look at RDU. A little bit of blue sky showing through some cloud cover. These clouds will keep our temperatures from climbing up into the 90s this afternoon. Right now it's mid to upper 70s, so it's warm and steamy to start the day, but we'll keep it in the upper 80s as that chance of showers and thunderstorms rolls through with a good bit of cloud cover for it today. Again, we're going to repeat this again on Tuesday and Wednesday. We also have a system in the tropics that's developing. I'll show you what to expect from that coming up. Ken?
Elizabeth, we're keeping everyone updated on the congestion we're picking up, particularly on the Beltline. Let's start with that northern loop of the Beltline, I-40 and New Bern Avenue. You can see what we're talking about here. The bulk of the congestion really comes down to the I-87, 440 interchange there. Right now, you're looking at a 6-minute delay all the way over to Wade Avenue, so keep that in mind. That southern loop of the Beltline, things really beginning to thin out quite a bit. No delays whatsoever if you're taking that southern loop of the Beltline at this hour.
Ken, thank you. Well, we are right in the middle of summer, but some people can't even enjoy their neighborhood pool or clubhouse. That's because they say people are throwing so-called takeovers and letting in dozens of people who don't live there. In some cases, it's led to damage and even violence. People came to WRAL Investigates after years of problems and little help. Destiny Patterson has a preview of her story airing tonight on WRAL.
We've had people from 2 different neighborhoods reach out to us about their amenities, like their pool or their clubhouse, being overrun by people who don't live there, and in some cases, causing damage. In at least one case, someone sent us this video. It shows what looks like a confrontation.
These pop-up parties seem to be happening, weekly lately, and it's between 20 and 50 teens show up.
Some of the residents here are not even wanting to use the facilities anymore because of that.
It's not a good feeling when you are actually scared for your life in the place that you call home, the place that I spent so much money and so much effort to try and to make a dream for myself.
So what's being done to stop these so-called takeovers? Tonight at 6, WRAL Investigates is pressing the HOAs and law enforcement to see how they're planning to get these under control. Destiny Patterson, WRAL News.
Well, today, family and friends will lay Nolan Wells to rest. A funeral service is planned for the 18-year-old who died after visiting an island with friends in Mississippi over the 4th of July weekend. Wells was found dead 2 days after he disappeared off that coast. A woman said the area where his body was found was the same area where she had anchored her boat. She said the water around the island was choppy and that area in particular was known for rougher water. Wells's parents, who have questioned the circumstances surrounding their son's death, have launched their own investigation.
Police in Pennsylvania are searching for clues after a burglary at the home of NFL star Saquon Barkley. Officers say that the suspects broke in around 5 a.m. Saturday morning while the Philadelphia Eagle and his family were still inside. Authorities say by the time police got there, the suspects had left. They said it doesn't appear anything was taken. Investigators are looking into whether a white SUV is tied to the robbery. Now, the incident is the latest in a string of high-profile break-ins nationwide, including one at the home of Cincinnati Bengal quarterback Joe Burrow, while Burrow was in Dallas playing Monday Night Football, I should say.
This morning, Spain celebrating its 2nd World Cup win. It's our World Cup score of the day. Spain scored in the 106th minute to beat defending champion Argentina 1-0 in extra time in yesterday's final. Spain previously won the World Cup back in 2010. So a little raccoon that has won the hearts of everyone on social media.
And a major spectacle at the FIFA World Cup final. Here's a look at what's trending, starting with this. the historic FIFA World Cup final this year. This was the first time the big game had a halftime show. Madonna kicked off the spectacle before the Muppets, BTS, and Justin Bieber took the stage. The show brought music, dance, and global entertainment to soccer's biggest stage on this final day of the 2026 World Cup.
Yeah, Shakira, Burna Boy performed as well, but the whole discussion was about Justin Bieber and his acoustic guitar and coming after all these high-powered energy performances.
Yeah, I think my focus was on Shakira and Burna Boy. What a fabulous apartment to go from such high energy to, I understand. Yeah.
Completely. So now to that raccoon taking the Seattle area and social media by storm. People on social media giving this mammal with a short torso the name Jimothy and videos of him going viral. So what's up with the torso? Well, it's likely this raccoon has a rare spine deformity that makes it appear as if he's missing a neck.
Oh, well, despite the deformity, he appears to be healthy and has become the unofficial mascot for Seattle. One city council member is even campaigning to commemorate Jimothy Summer.
There you go. Deformity or not, he's popular.
Yes, very much so. I'll tell you what's not popular right now. This weather pattern that we are in. And meteorologist Elizabeth Garner tracking the forecast. And Elizabeth, every afternoon we have these showers now.
We definitely do. And you'll want to watch out for that, especially mid to late afternoon. That's going to be the timing for it today. So we have the potential for severe storms. The main threat is going to be wind damage. But of course, we'll see a lot of lightning with these storms. We definitely saw that yesterday. And we thank everybody who sent us photos. We do have a picture to share. This one was pretty dramatic. Look how pretty that is. Leanne Salvato from Four Oaks sent us this one. I do want to point out, we love seeing your pictures. Please keep sending them. But lightning, of course, is one of our top weather-related killers in our area. And you want to just be especially careful if you're taking these pictures. Do it from inside, looking out the window. But if you have pictures to share with us, please do. We have some more. Reported photos. Christine Scott from Youngsville sent us this really dramatic lightning picture. And then we also had some trees down yesterday. These trees were just snapped in two yesterday. Caitlin Bear from Carthage sent us that. And you can see how one of them ended up on the house over there. It looked like it did some damage. So just make sure you're weather aware. If you're not close to the television, download the WRAL weather app. Set the alerts to come on when you have severe storms in your area. Then turn on the TV. We'll let you know if you're in any danger. We're likely to see scattered storms developing right around or just after lunchtime. Some of those will produce some heavy rain, and some of them could produce some wind damage. And they could pop up in any part of the viewing area. So again, we have that flood risk and severe threat for today, very similar to yesterday. Wind and flood will be our biggest threats. Hail is possible. We did have one report of some hail up near the Virginia line. This is not likely to be a tornado threat for us. It's mainly cloudy in downtown Raleigh right now. We're looking from the Weld Apartments toward downtown. 78 degrees, a dew point of 71. So it is a warm and sticky start. Our normal high is 91, and we're looking at temperatures above normal only on Tuesday. So we're not looking at excessive heat this week. Kind of nice to have a break from the heat. The trade-off is we'll have a better chance for storms, and of course some of those could become severe. It's been pretty quiet in the tropics, but tropical depression number 2 has formed. Its name is going to be Bertha, and that is likely to form sometime today, potentially at 11 o'clock or later on this afternoon. Kind of brushes along the Gulf Coast with winds up to 50 miles per hour. So there could be some minor damage, but some heavy rain along the Gulf Coast there. For us, we're looking at the potential for as much as 2 to maybe up to 5 inches of rain in parts of our area between now and Friday. Once we get to the weekend, it looks a little drier. Temperatures are still in the upper 80s. Laura?
Elizabeth, thank you. Before we go to break, here are the winning lottery numbers, and we will have another check on weather and traffic coming up next.